The Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, who's in our Canberra studio for us. Treasurer, thanks so much for your time. We've seen your comments this morning about Angus Taylor repealing the tax cut that's now been passed through the Parliament. But essentially, it doesn't matter what mechanism people get a tax cut by, it matters how they get it and how much money is in their pocket. Do you concede that you're offering about $5 a week and the Coalition's now offering about $17?
Well, what this brain explosion means this morning from Angus Taylor is that the tax cuts aren't safe under the Coalition. More than that, if you think about the $50 a week average tax cut that Australians are getting from Labor, the $10 additional a week they're getting as a consequence of the budget, what Angus Taylor has said today is that if they win the election, they will legislate to increase income taxes on every single Australian taxpayer. That means that he has confirmed today that if Peter Dutton wins the election, Australians will earn less and keep less of what they earn. Now, this is a stunning admission. I can't find any example of any opposition or government going to an election saying that they will legislate to increase income taxes on every single Australian taxpayer. Now, this is not just something that Labor is saying, this is something that Angus Taylor has confirmed this morning. And what it means is anything and everything else that Peter Dutton says tonight in his budget reply is peripheral to this main admission that they've made today, that every Australian taxpayer will pay higher taxes under the Coalition, and they will legislate to make that sure that's the case.
Jim, it's pretty brave to come out all guns blazing, is it, before you even see this speech tonight? And what is on offer doesn't matter by what mechanism. They're saying $17 a week. You're saying $5.
It's not ongoing. We're saying $10 extra a week in addition to the $40 which is already rolling out.
But this also doesn't come in for 15 months, Treasurer. So that would tell me that you think this cost of living crisis is well ongoing and is not going to be solved in 15 months. So what about now?
Of course I'm not, Laura, of course I'm not saying that. And what you're ignoring is that in our budget, there are a whole range of ways we're helping people with the cost of living. Energy bill rebates, cheaper medicines, cutting student debt, strengthening Medicare and these tax cuts. And the difference between what we're proposing and what the Coalition is proposing is we are proposing ongoing help with the cost of living, with permanent, enduring, ongoing tax cuts. The Coalition doesn't have any plans to help people with the cost of living in an enduring way. And what it means is the economic policy that they will take to the election is higher taxes for every taxpayer, secret cuts to pay for nuclear reactors, and no ongoing help with the cost of living.
No ongoing help with the cost of living before you've seen the budget reply. It's brave.
Well, I'm talking about what Angus Taylor has said this morning, repeatedly on media. He's been asked repeatedly today, will they legislate to increase taxes on every Australian taxpayer? And he said, absolutely, that's what they intend to do. And as far as I'm aware, that's unprecedented. And so this will haunt them every single day of the election campaign. They're going to the election saying to the workers of Australia that if you pay tax, if you pay income tax, you will pay more tax if the Coalition wins, and they will legislate to make sure that's the case.
That's in 15 months' time that people won't get that top-up tax cut. The Coalition's saying they would cut the fuel excise as soon as they're elected. So what do you say when it comes to the fuel excise? Will you match it or will you block it?
Well, we've got our own plan. Which we laid out in the budget. You know, we know that cost of living pressures are front of mind for most Australians, and that's why cost of living was front and centre in our budget. As I said a moment ago, tax cuts for every taxpayer, energy bill relief for every household, cheaper medicines, cutting student debt, and strengthening Medicare is all about realising that more bulk billing means less financial pressure on families. And so we've got our own comprehensive agenda to help people with the cost of living. They have no enduring answers. And worse than that, they will make the cost of living pressures worse by increasing taxes on every taxpayer.
Can you really say that $5 or $5 to $10 a week is enduring when that first doesn't kick in for 15 months, Treasurer?
Well, it's now the law of the land. It passed through the Senate last night, and what it means is because of our 3 tax cuts, the average tax cut is about $50 a week. We've been up front and said what we're doing here is topping up the tax cuts which are already flowing. We're doing that in the most responsible way they can, but that's a permanent change to the tax system. It's now the law of the land. What Peter Dutton and Angus Taylor are proposing is no ongoing help with the cost of living, higher taxes for every taxpayer. And don't forget as well, tonight is a big opportunity for Peter Dutton to outline where he's going to find the $600 billion that he needs to build his nuclear reactors and what that means for Medicare and payments and pensions.
Okay, well, I want to talk to you about the energy rebate as well, because one line in your speech really stood out to me, Treasurer, and that was the line that electricity prices have come down 25%. That's a borderline lie, isn't it? Because we've seen electricity prices go up and up, and since your party promised a $275 cut in electricity prices, people have actually seen a $1,600 increase, and what you're doing with these rebates is just circulating taxpayer money. They're just paying for it in a different way.
Well, I don't know why you don't apply the same criticism to what the Liberals are proposing with petrol, but leaving that aside for a moment,
okay,
Laura,
well, we can do that. No, we can absolutely do that because it's artificial, absolutely. But, I mean, is it temporary now? Is this rebate temporary, or is this now a permanent feature of the budget and really an admission that you can't bring down electricity prices like you promised?
Well, two things about that. First of all, the 25% number is a number from the Bureau of Statistics. It's in the most recent inflation figures. It's not a Labor government figure, it's an ABS figure. Sure. It refers to the change in electricity prices over 2024, which is the most recent number that we have. And so if you want to quibble with that, you can quibble with the ABS. When it comes to the energy rebates, we've made it clear that we review those from budget to budget. We've said that we'll extend it for another 6 months. That's because we're being responsible with taxpayers' money. And it's also because it's not the only thing we're doing to help with the cost of living. Energy rebates and all of the other things that I've run through on the show this morning and in the course of this week. Ours is a coherent, comprehensive package. It combines temporary relief with ongoing cost of living help. What Peter Dutton and Angus Taylor are proposing is no enduring help with the cost of living, and worse than that, higher taxes for every taxpayer.
Okay, so just to confirm with you this morning, on the fuel excise, you're not going to match the coalition on that. You're not going to touch it. It stays as is.
We've got our own plan, Laura, and we set that out in the budget. We funded it. We explained what it means for the bottom line in every year. We combined temporary relief with ongoing relief. And the centrepiece was to make it easier for more Australians to earn more and keep more of what they earn. The consequence of what Angus Taylor has admitted today in this pretty stunning brain explosion, which will really worry his colleagues, is that Peter Dutton and Angus Taylor are going to the election with a policy to ensure that Australians earn less and keep less of what they earn.
You must know what's in this budget reply speech tonight, or pretty confident that you do at least. If the government, if the opposition, Peter Dutton comes out tonight and promises bigger income tax cuts or an increase in Lamito, will you match it?
Well, he has said, Peter Dutton has said, as I understand it, and other Liberals and Nationals have said that they don't think it's the right time for Australians to keep more of what they earn. If they have a different view tonight, let's see it. But certainly what they have said today on the public record is that they will legislate to increase taxes on every Australian taxpayer. That's the position that Angus Taylor has made clear this morning on radio and on TV, and that's what I'm going off. You
think you're in an election winning position? Do you think we'll be in a campaign by this weekend?
Oh, well, we know that the election has to be called relatively soon because the election will be in May and we're at the end of March. And so the Prime Minister will call the election at some point relatively soon, and we'll be ready and raring to go when he does, because there's a lot at stake now in this election. We've got Labor cutting taxes and helping people with the cost of living. We've got Peter Dutton hiking taxes for every taxpayer, and with secret cuts that will make Australians worse off because he's got to pay for his nuclear reactors. So the choices are pretty stark in the election whenever it's called.